Well, hello, Mike D here, and welcome to another edition of Making It Happen. This is a show where we talk to local guests that get out there and they make some things happen, but ultimately we want to give you some information so you can go make something happen. So today we're talking with Leslie Sturgeon from Women Inspiring Women, and we're going to talk to Leslie about how she started her entrepreneurial life and what she really brings to the table for other business people, entrepreneurs, and women and men in the community. So, Leslie, how are you?
Great. Nice to see you, Mike.
Thanks for parting with your time and coming by.
Thanks for having me.
Contributing to the show. Always a pleasure to catch up with you. But let's talk about this, because you were written about in a major newspaper at one point, right? For starting the group that you started.
Recently I was, yes, in the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
It was the online version, but still, it was great publicity.
Hey, well, probably more people read the online version.
Absolutely.
But what was the whole idea behind when you started your group? What was kind of the inspiration for that? What made you make that happen?
Well, 21 years ago, I started my first business called Office Options, and I was 22 years old, very young, very naive, and I surrounded myself with other women that I thought could sort of nurture me and mentor me and just sort of give me words of wisdom. So informally, I was getting together with women, and there weren't any other sort of women's professional groups in the Lakes region. And so I continued on my business for a long time, and I finally said, you know what, I've been just wanting to bring women together on a bigger scale. You know, what would happen if I took my little groups and just did it on a bigger scale and brought more women together?
So you had actually started organizing, leading groups?
I had been thinking about it. I wasn't. I hadn't really organized anything official. It was more like just going out to dinner or taking someone out to lunch and just sort of picking their brain. And I had been heavily involved in the Meredith.
Well, you were cultivating relationships.
Absolutely.
Right.
And just sort of, they were my little think tanks and my little sort of board of directors, very informally. And it was very empowering and very motivating. And I said, you know, what would happen if I did this on a bigger scale? So I've been thinking about it, and finally just 3 years ago decided to pull the group together and had a huge launch, and here we are 3 years later.
So then what was the progression? You were doing what was it called? Office?
It was Office Options.
Office Options. And what was the nature of that?
Well, I started that in Meredith doing shared executive suites and office support services. And at that time, it was a very unusual and new concept to this region. So it took a little bit of time.
It was kind of an outsourcing?
People would bring in projects to my office,
right.
And I had staff there to do it, and I did answering service and faxing and all of that, which faxing at the time was brand new. And executive suite, sharing of executive suites was brand new too. So people would bring work into my office, and we would do projects and marketing materials and whatever they needed business-wise or personally, and resume writing and that type of thing.
Okay.
And then that progressed to managing associations, homeowners groups, professional groups, and I started my second company, which is Association Solutions.
So talk a little bit real quick about the Association Solutions. It was pretty much a spin-off of the
It was sort of a natural progression,
right.
Because I had been doing a lot of association work. Some of it was the administrative support, but then it just sort of, I was getting asked to do more and more, and I just said, you know what, I'm just going to create sort of a second division, more for marketing purposes maybe, because
to give yourself that unique identity.
Right. So
take away there.
Absolutely.
Maybe get a bell.
And it worked beautifully when I started creating sort of a separate division and marketed it differently than just the administrative support and the office services, which Office Options provided.
Right.
So that's been working really well, and I now have quite a few clients in both of those arenas. And so 3 years ago...
now, does that still exist, your Association Solutions?
They both still exist.
That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah. And then the third entity is Women Inspiring Women, which probably in January of 2007, I started putting it together. And, I've been thinking about it for a long time, but I really started mapping it out, what I wanted it to look like and how it could best serve the women of Central New Hampshire, the Lakes region area particularly, because there weren't any other women's groups for business and professional women or just women in general that wanted empowerment and personal development. So I started kind of mapping it out, what it would look like, and had a huge launch party at Church Landing in May of 2007, and it's just rapidly grown since then.
What did you actually do for the associations?
pretty much anything they needed. Some of it
Same.
was administrative. Some of it was communications with members. Some of it was member development,
Right.
depending on whether it was a homeowners group or professional group. Some of it's managing it from beginning to end. It's managing the business side of that association,
Okay.
like a homeowners group,
Right.
interacting with the members, resolving conflicts, handling subcontractors, whatever it may be.
Sounds like a blast. No, I'm just kidding.
It actually is kind of fun because it does involve a lot of different things.
Challenging,
Some of
yeah.
it's event planning.
People,
you know,
right.
it's people. It's
All
problem solving.
all great foundation for what you do now.
Absolutely.
Right.
I look back, and I just said this to someone the other day, I look back and all the things that I've done over my career and the people that I've encountered has absolutely set me up for what I'm doing today. It's made me the person I am.
Right.
It's given me the skills that I needed to do what I'm doing
And
now.
almost like you probably look back on it and you say, it all fell perfectly in place. If you think, but it didn't, right? There's never a perfect direction toward.
But as you
towards
know,
your goal,
no, there isn't, but
you
it's-
say,
it's all
this-
of that
This
that-
happened because it set me up
That's
to
right.
be wiser in this position.
Absolutely. It's all of those things, the good, the bad, and the ugly, that leads
Right.
us to where we are today.
The Clint Eastwood model.
That's right. But it leads to something, and I wouldn't have been able to start my Women Inspiring Women group if I hadn't made the contacts that I did and had the support locally that I had received for all those years, and the skills and all of that. So,
You're the same person you are today, 10 years from now, except for the people you hang out with and the books you read. There you go, something like that.
something like that.
Meaning-
I've heard that quote.
Right, meaning you have to put good information into your mind beyond, your MBA, your PhD.
That's
You got to
right.
keep learning. I think I heard this the other day. I mean, the average person changes careers every 6 years. I mean, it's careers, not jobs.
Which
So
is
the
fascinating to me. I heard
information-
something similar.
Information is so valuable.
That's right.
Practical knowledge. So that's what we call the personal development side of things, where you're taking an interest and you're investing
Mm-hmm.
in your most valuable asset, which is you.
That's right.
To your mind.
Mm-hmm.
So the forum for personal development would be what?
What I've decided to do with the group is I sort of had a vision for what it would include, and it was all things that helped me to get to where I am today. And obviously now that the group is going, I am obviously listening to what people need and what they want and that type of thing, and determining the programming from there. But the things that helped me get to where I am is surrounding yourself with positive people, surrounding yourself with people that can help you dream big, whether it's career-wise, family, whatever it may be, business. Really delving into personal and professional development, whether it's through books or seminars or whatever. So those are all things that have been key to my success.
Right.
So I wanted to create that in my group. So women come together, they're surrounded by other women that are on the same kind of journey, that they want to better themselves, they want to be empowered or motivated, they want positivity in their life, femininity in their life. And to bring to them some really good training in personal and professional development and a whole array of topics.
Awesome. So Women Inspiring Women, Leslie Sturgeon. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks,
It
I
was fun
appreciate it.
getting
This is
to
wonderful.
spend some
Thank
time
you.
with you and hang out and practice our on-camera skills.
Together, we're in this together.
Right. This is Mike D for Making It Happen. You can always go to askmiked.com if you have any questions and show ideas. Talk to you next time.